This is the Drake Martinez Music Channel. I'm your host, Drake, and today we're going to be talking about all things wah. This is Wah Wah 101. We're going to be talking about what is wah, what does it do, because it is in fact a very versatile effect that has tons of applications, is used in all different types of genres, and can even be used in clean tones, dirty tones, all the way up to like metal, heavy distorted tones. So we're going to be talking about that and more in this episode about wah wah. So this is one of my favorite effects. Because of how versatile it is and because of the ways that you can like really dial in a sound that you're looking for with this effect. The wah wah that I'm using is a Jim Dunlop 5Q one. It's the one that was based off of the Dimebag Darrell wah. So, but it doesn't have all like that really cool features or like the look aesthetic that the Dimebag Darrell had, like the grip tape and like the camo and all that kind of stuff. So this is just like the black one. It's really nice. Highly recommend it if you find it out there for a good price. But without further ado, let's get into the content. All right, so first, let's answer the question as to what is wah. Wah is essentially a frequency sweeper. It changes in the range of the frequency of your guitar sound. So, and the other nice thing about it is the wah wah pedal has a nice true bypass switch. Once you engage that switch, you've now engaged the setting. And as your foot depresses down or toward the floor, it will increase the frequency range of the guitar. Up decreases it and makes it darker. All right, so we're getting a baseline effect for this sound, and here we go. Very basic but smooth sound I got on here for you guys. So now let's add a little bit of wah and see exactly how does this change the sound. So we engage the wah pedal, and with the foot all the way depressed, as it's going to really brighten up that sound. Makes it very trebly, almost like piercing and almost on the borderline of like hard to listen to. As it's depressed all the way up or moved all the way up. So as you can hear, it's like really dark and almost sounds like it's coming from a different room. Now we can hear the sweep. And that is essentially why they call it a wah wah pedal, because it's like wah 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 wah, coming in and out, almost like a Doppler effect. Okay, so now we answered the question as to like what does it do, but how can you use it? It turns out you can use this really simple effect in a ton of different ways. If you're thinking about how you would use it in a chord progression, let's just do something simple like. So that's A minor, F, C major, G major. And then you come in with a little bit of a. So let's listen to that in a real chord progression as you taper off with a nice like wah wah effect at the end. So there you have it. That's how you could use that with a nice chord progression. Now in a reggae style, it obviously will have like a little bit of a reggae style, so you might hear something that sounds a little bit like this. All right, yeah. So very simple effect, right? But it gives a little bit of room. It gives a little bit of like liveliness to the sound. But that is like the articulation of the sound, like in almost like in a static way. But there are different ways that you can use that. So you can even use it to accentuate your hits. So instead of it just like using it as like a trailing off, tapering effect at the end of your chord progression, you can use it to accentuate how you're attacking the strings. So let's go back to reggae and listen to how that would sound. So I'm just going to pick a quick chord progression here. So, and then accentuate as I'm striking the strings, hitting the, moving the wah wah pedal to the floor and then up again and giving it a little bit of movement. So you'll hear that here. So again, let's listen to that without the wah and see what kind of movement it makes. Let's add the wah back. I like that sound. I think it's really cool. All right, so with funk uses wah really like in a lot of really interesting ways, but it's very similar to reggae. You're not always going to be in a chord progression in funk. Sometimes you're going to have that vamp, like just sticking on that one note or that one chord, but playing a whole lot of different notes within it to give it the melody. Funk is very rhythmically focused, so having the wah wah turns the guitar not just into like a almost like a percussive instrument, but also gives it a lot of percussive movement within the frequency range that you're changing on the wah wah pedal. So, all right, so we're doing an E7 add 9. It's a really nice funky chord. A lot of people call this a Hendrix chord, and we're going to be using this to do like a little funk vamp without wah, and then we're going to compare it with wah and see how it sounds. All right, so let's add wah and see what we can do with this funk sound. All right, cool. Yeah, it's a nice sound. All right, let's go back and hear it again without the wah. With wah. All right, yeah, so you can hear it right there. It just gives it a lot of different movements, a lot of interesting percussive articulations when you add the wah with a nice percussive sound, nice rhythmic sound. Those are some of the traditional ways in which you can use wah. You've also got like a very like bluesy style, which starts moving into like how you would use it in soloing as opposed to rhythmic or chord progression. So a lot of one of the best examples of this would be your Jimi Hendrix slight return. That's why I like to think about it, your slight return on investment. All right, so we're going to add a little bit of overdrive. We've already got our reverb on there. So yeah, the overdrive is going to be really essential to this sound. All right, yeah. So that's the best I could do for slight return. But as you can hear, like none of that's possible without a wah. I mean, maybe if you're like a really really great gifted guitar player, but I don't know. I don't see it happening without a wah pedal. The wah adds that little extra articulation that Hendrix was able to access, using that pedal. And it's almost like you're playing a separate instrument within an instrument when you're doing that. So it's a really great way to accent and articulate your guitar playing via the wah-wah pedal. Now, a way that a lot of people I think might not be so knowledgeable or at least aware of how you can use it is in a different way that I think was, at least in my opinion, was made to light in a lot of the bands from, let's say, like the early 2000s, like Lettuce, Humphreys, McGee. These guys were using wah in funk, but they were using it more in a delay style that I think has its own beauty to it. So I'm gonna give my best interpretation of that right now. Gonna add a little bit of delay. So in this, I'm going to kind of just like freestyle it real quick, but you can hear how through the wah, the delay, you can get all sorts of different interesting sounds. Between bending and using the wah, it adds a little bit of depth to it. It adds a new, again, almost like a different note range that I'm hitting. So I'm going to just mess around with this a little bit for you guys so you guys can give it a listen. And then, of course, you can use this effect when you're almost like, I guess, like in a triplet kind of setting. Like with the wah, you're able to just make it sound more lively. So tons of different applications you can use for this simple effect. But if there's others out there that I missed or other ones that you guys wanted to let me know about, let me know in the comments. And thank you guys for tuning in. If you like the content and you want to see more, give me a like and a subscribe. And there'll be definitely some new material for you guys in the future. All right, thanks for tuning in. See you guys later.